again, it is on. In case you didn't know, go get your popcorn because it is on right here on Black Power Media. This is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and we are ready to give it to you right here. But first, let's introduce you to our host. We got no other than Dr. Jared Barr, and Jackie Lukeman, and Lucretia Williams. Buck. Yeah.
Hey. Oh, why am I so short? Oh, geez.
You gotta ask your parents that. What's good, everybody? Good to see y'all. Lucretia done moved up like the Jeffersons. I see you over there, Lucretia.
No.
Oh, yeah, any given moment I'm just sliding, over that piano back there. So,
See.
Yep.
A lot of people got that house, boy. A lot of y'all.
A lot of people. It's the BPM.
It's the BPM house.
The BPM house.
It's what the remixers funded.
Exactly.
Keep sending in those super chats, y'all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
But there were people believing that was my house at one point, and they were really in the chat. I think they were not joking either. They were like,
No,
oh,
they were
Yeah, I
not.
think I was in the chat. They weren't. No.
No, they thought it was. They thought it was real.
They're like, "Ooh, that's a nice house.
That's
Wait,
a
he in his
nice
living
house.
room? Like
Yeah,
that's
look
a
at-
bad-
That's not.
Okay.
They were very serious.
It's
Yes,
a little difficult to
extremely.
find these politics in that kind of housing in the same space. It's rare.
I wish I could have took y'all to my Morris Brown homecoming this weekend. Listen, it was a
boy.
sea of purple and black. It was beautiful out there.
Uh-huh.
Crazy thing is, they didn't have a DJ this year. So I in the middle of the yard, everybody was playing music around, but I was like, yo, no DJ? Couldn't afford me this year? What's going on? I'll be there.
They
next
couldn't afford you this year. What
year. I
what
guess so.
was going on
What
with
kind of-
Morris Brown's finances?
Yeah, what's up with the Brown University messing up?
I don't know. It was beautiful though. It was good to see all the people out there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. How about y'all weekend?
What did I do this weekend?
We're gonna get to you, Jackie. Let's get to everybody else.
Yeah. All I will say is hosted some good programming on BPM this weekend, and that was pretty much my contribution to humanity. It was a family infused weekend and a good relaxed time, but always good. So please do, if you didn't get a chance, check out the offerings from this weekend, Saturday with Renee and the interview with John Potash about Pac, and very interesting view on what he thinks did and did not happen.
He was working. He was working.
And even caught a little bit of Sundays, and I was confused because first it was It said it looked like it was not Sundays and it was Mondays, and then Sundays was there. So I was like, caught a little bit as we was running around in the house.
I wanted to make Sundays more of a radio talk show type program. I could have people come on and have interviews and different games and different stuff we could play, and then do a Monday type mix during the lunch hour so people can rock out for their lunch hour. So we're trying to expand
That's
it.
nice. Yeah,
That is
that's
nice. And you do owe us some mixes, though. Don't think that they make up for what you owe
Yeah.
us here, though.
Oh, so
Yeah, not
Lucretia,
the
how
same.
was your weekend?
I co-signed the remixer, so
Damn it.
you owe that mix.
Damn
Sorry.
you, Lucretia.
I'm not going to get out of that. No.
All right, let's
No.
get to Jackie. How was your weekend?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what it is about me and this life, but there is never a dull moment. So,
Where to start?
Tuesday of last week, for those of you who do not know, if you have been wondering where Sean Blackman and I have been on By Any Means Necessary on Radio Sputnik, we are no more. Tuesday, we were summarily fired and the show taken off the air because because we are anti-Zionists. The show has been anti-Zionist since its inception. The show has been on the network for 7 years. It was started by Eugene Perrier. Yes, the same Eugene Perrier of Breakthrough News. and anti-Zionist, anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist, socialist, the whole thing, the whole time. Throughout the 7 years of the show, they were never asked to or never told to report on any controversial issue from both sides. I never heard that in my time on the show. And I'd been on the show since 2019 after Eugene moved on to New York to start up Breakthrough News. So we never got the direction from anybody to report on anything in any particular way. This was the great thing about our show. We really did have editorial control over what we reported on and what we said until this situation in Palestine happened. And as I said, we have been anti-Zionist the whole time. We refused to walk back our principles of being anti-Zionist and report on the situation in Palestine any way differently than we reported any other controversial issue. We were not going to do anything different. And we certainly were not going to present any pro-Zionist position as if it had any legitimacy. We were not going to report on this story from a both sides perspective. And while we were fine with saying, all right, these allegations of mass rapes and the killing of babies, we were fine with presenting those allegations to our guests and saying, what do you think about this? That was as far as we were going to go, because that's what we had always done. Like when we were reporting on the Ukraine-Russia situation, we would see the bullshit that was posted about, Russia killing Ukrainian children and, bombing orphanages and bombing hospitals. And we knew that stuff was bullshit, but we knew we had to report on it. So what we did was we would look at it and say to our guests, this has been reported. What is your response to this? And we would have done the same thing, but that wasn't enough. So the show was canceled. We were fired. Legally, that's probably all I can say. So I don't get sued. But principles are what they are. And look, principles don't mean anything if they're not tested. So like I said, we were not going to change our principles. We were not going to present a settler colonial, white supremacist, violent, a genocidal ideology and opinion as if it had any legitimacy, so particularly knowing that the allegations were lies. And they're the same. They were the same kind of lies that we saw being propagated about Saddam Hussein's army in Iraq, about Muammar Gaddafi's army in Libya, about Afghanistan, about Vietnam. It's the same kind of lies, mass rapes and, babies taken out of incubators and thrown out the windows. Same bullshit. So that's the situation. So that's that. By Any Means Necessary is no longer. I appreciate, Sean and I, and I'm certainly not speaking for him. But I can tell you that we deeply appreciate everyone's support over the 7 years of the show. And, for me, since 2019, what's it been, 4 years that I've been on the show. I could not have been more fortunate than to have been able to work with somebody like Sean Blackman, who is just one of the sharpest brothers I have ever met. And to have his friendship and Eugene per years, also just amazing people. But that time is done. So there's that.
So obviously, as I said on Twitter, you already know. You're already here. Sean is always welcome. A version of BAM on this platform, I think, I'm not speaking out of turn, would be wildly welcomed. And though I'm also clear we're not able to currently match the resources that Sputnik, but so support our Patreon.
Exactly.
Like, share, subscribe. But to the extent, obviously, that we could be a space to of some support and outlet, obviously that's open, and increasingly so, since again you're already here, but Sean is obviously welcome. So that's
and you could bring it here with no restrictions. You know what I mean? Talk your talk.
I mean,
just say allegedly sometimes.
Just say no. I don't like the word. You know how much I dislike that word. That's just
we still in these YouTube streets.
Yeah.
And it's only I was gonna say it's only the only editorial voice we have to worry about is that algorithm and or that the overlords at Google. But speaking of which, I'm just checking here. When is are we? I think we're officially out of our strike.
Are we?
Ooh, yay.
Yeah.
We's free. We's free.
Yeah,
don't get no bright ideas though. I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying we crossed that 90-day period, so I think we're back to whatever.
All right.
And but
until the next one, yeah.
Until the next one.
Big up to you, Jackie, for standing on principles. You know
but
what
no
I mean?
Question.
And bigger things come when you do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't think that it's not being seen. You know what I mean? So big things coming your way.
Well, that's the point. It is being seen.
It is.
That's why I got shut down. That's why they were like, "We see you."
Yeah.
and I appreciate that and thank you and all that kind of stuff. And I don't want people to be like, "Ooh, Jackie's so special." Fuck that. I'm just like.
It's not that, but it's that we recognize that this has an impact. I mean, not only were you doing good work, but there's issues of material resources in healthcare, and we know that when this is done to you and others, that's the point. That this is the shaky ground they want to keep us all on, so that we don't speak out of turn. So it is so. It is alarming, and I think we should be a little bit concerned and alerted, and on deck to do what we can to help out. So, just
I appreciate that, and I want to. And this is something that a couple of people have asked me, because it wasn't a question, because it's like, oh, the Russians finally got you. No.
Putin didn't push the button on this one.
Jesus Christ,
Jackie, no more.
just,
Yeah.
Sorry. My theater kid came out for
Nice.
apologies.
No, that's.
Beautiful.
I mean, it's just been funny. Just people like, see, this is why we ain't got no friends. Even the Russians turned their back. Even Putin turned their back on Vladimir Putin. Is not sitting up in the Kremlin listening to Sean and Jacqueline. People need to stop individualizing governments and believing that government leaders are like these puppet masters. That's not how this thing worked. This was a decision that was not made by the consultation of the Kremlin. Like, there was not a phone call made to anybody that was like, okay, we got a problem with these two Negroes. What do I do? It was literally, yeah, this is who we are. I don't even know what you're asking us to do. What is it that you want us to say or do? And then the next thing we know, the show was canceled. So that wasn't a Putin decision. That was a management decision. And that's all I can say before I get sued.
Just out of curiosity, is this come to the office and sit down? Is this an email? Is it
no?
Zoom
It was a come into the office. All of the shows got the same conversation, the same. You have to report on this from both sides. And like I said, we're anti-Zionists. There are no both sides. There are the occupiers and the settlers. the settlers and the occupiers and the oppressed people. That there are no, so why are we giving we don't give legitimacy to occupiers ever, period.
Both the slave and the slave master can't be right.
You know, there wasn't, and I would say it all the time. I guess kind of in the back of my mind, knowing that one day it was going to come true, because we were kind of expecting, because the FBI had been trying to shut Sputnik down for years, even before the Russia-Ukraine thing. Then when that happened, of course, the effort to do it was greater and heavier, and you saw all of the censorship, and that's another part of this that I'll get into a little bit later, I guess. But it's interesting, all of the people who didn't have a problem with journalists and anti-imperialists being censored in the media and on social media when we were telling the truth about the Russia-Ukraine conflict. But now you all pissed off because people are getting fired and censored over Palestine. Screw y'all. Honestly, screw y'all, because how can you be upset that we lost our job because we stood on our principles in regard to Palestine, but you didn't care about the way we were being censored when we were telling the truth about what was going on in Ukraine about Russia because you hate Russia so much? Man. Oh, yeah.
Man, they wanted Jackie to be like, Thomas Jefferson was a good man. He just wanted to help population and rape enslaved black women.
But he loved one of them.
You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck out of here. All right, listen, we're going to take a break. Glad you here, Jackie. Glad all y'all here. Remixes, everybody here. We're going to take a quick break and get back to some news right here on No Other Than the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. A little reggae-ish this morning. Big up, y'all. Big up, big up, big up. This is the Remix Morning Show. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And go to patreon.com, go to Black Power Media, and become a member over there. We got some other content over there, so go check it out. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get into the weather. It is fall for real out here now, y'all. I'm not playing. You see, I got the hoodie on inside. It's no joking. All right, we start in the ATL. We got a high today of 62 degrees. Next, let's take it to DC. They hotter than us, 63 degrees, a whole degree. All right, next, let's take it to Chicago. The Chi, they got a high today of 60. It's a lot of 60s going on here. Next, let's take it to Houston, Texas. They got a high of 74 degrees. Over in the West Coast, let's take it to Oakland. Oakland is 77 degrees. If you're trying to travel to Jamaica, Kingston, stay at the resort. Now I'm just playing. Go to the waterfalls, have a great time. They got a high of 89 degrees. And last but not least, let's talk about Mongo, Chad. They have a high today of 99 degrees. Now that's hot. I'll tell you what else is hot. This hot mess right here. I ain't even gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna say your boy right here, your boy right here gets no breaks. I mean, his last post is like, listen, I'm out on a boat, I'm selling, notifications off. I don't even want to hear no more about this. So it's an ongoing story of her life, Jada's life, and how she sold crack and stuff. Her new book came out, but I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning Crew. I'm sure they got some things and stuff to talk about. It's more worthy of your time. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Yeah.
I'm opposed to what you and apparently a number of people in the chat are saying. I think Will and Jada is top headline news and worthy of substantive. I do at least. Can I at least say one thing? The one question I've been asking myself, because it's been almost unavoidable, is I was trying to think, like, what, with all due respect, what cultural, or certainly not political, but what cultural value has Jada Pinkett brought? Like, I was trying to think, like, what is her signature film?
Shame.
Woo. So seriously, I mean, it's like
Beyond a different world.
Matrix.
Set it off.
Set it off. Yeah, set it off. Yeah. You're right about that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's on her resume. I don't know.
Yeah. I just been asking. I was just trying to think, like why is, outside of this marriage stuff with Will and the Pac and all of that, like why do we keep getting all of this? Any menace to society? Somebody? Okay, all right. I mean,
relevance. Ain't
Okay.
that what it's all about?
She was the voice of the hippo in that.
Oh damn.
She's doing big things out here, y'all. Stop playing.
Okay.
Don't play with her name.
It's
Keep
just
her
a
name
mess.
out of y'all
It's
mouth.
messy. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
All
So
right.
that's the news
Let's-
weather for the
let's-
day. Let me
no,
get out of
thank
here.
you.
Thank you very much. Let's slap the map before I get us in more trouble. Right on. Welcome everybody back to the Remix Morning Show. Creesha, Jackie, Jared, Ear Doctor. Erica has laced us, but there's plenty to talk about. Remixers in the building. Like, share, subscribe. Put this in your socials. Anybody got somewhere they want us to start in particular? Anything they want to?
How much since I was busy navigating unemployment last week, how much did we talk about the media coverage of the uprising in Palestine, and the fact that so many media outlets like the BBC, the LA Times, even the White House to some degree has had to walk back the lies, the absolute lies. BBC, excuse me, has recently had to walk back their characterizations of the pro-Palestinian protests as pro-Hamas. They've been calling the protests across the UK, across Britain, as pro-Hamas protests. And they've had to walk that back. And of course, the claims about the beheading of 40 babies, Hamas beheaded 40 babies in Israel, and mass rapes. Those were, of course, lies. And they've had to be walked back not only by news outlets like the LA Times, but even the White House had to walk back the claims when Biden said, "Oh, I thought I'd never see the day when I would see evidence, proof of babies being beheaded." Well, he didn't. He hasn't seen that day because there was no proof. So where did that story come from? I'm almost afraid to share because I think I'm gonna freeze again. So I'm gonna see
If you
if
want
it
to
can
send
work.
the link, I'll share it for you if you want.
Yeah,
If
I'm
you
gonna
think that's
send
better.
let me give you the link to this
Because
thing. And see, there it goes.
yeah, if you
I don't know what's going on with this computer. But anyway, when it decides it wants to the claims.
So,
can you still hear me?
You're coming in and out and frozen on camera, and I haven't gotten a link yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to try. You going to have if you're just go to audio.
Let's see.
I don't know if we want to try
Okay,
that. There you go.
Now I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm putting the link in the chat, and I'm going to figure this thing out with this damn huge Mac Studio. This should not be happening for as much money as I spent on this damn thing. um, and, and not having these problems is the reason I spent the money on this damn thing. But
did you want to
so
play this? Do you want me
yes,
to?
please.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
3 minutes, but
Okay.
it addresses where these lies about the beheading of babies came from.
And this is from Al Jazeera English. And here we go.
Fact check. Did Hamas behead babies? Let's look at what we know so far about where this claim came from and why some media outlets and the White House have retracted the claim. On Saturday, October 7th, Hamas attacked the kibbutz of Kfar Aza. Members of the media were granted permission on October 10th, 3 days later, by the Israeli army to visit Kfar Aza and witness the aftermath of the Hamas attack. During the visit, a reporter from Israeli news outlet I-24 tweeted saying, "Soldiers told me they believe 40 babies, children, were killed." As the day progressed, the information morphed from at least 40 babies were killed to some were beheaded. On the day, the Israeli army could not confirm beheadings. The very next day, in London, commuters were subjected to this horrifying and unverified headline. On October 11th, many Western media outlets jumped on that claim, quoting the spokesman of Israel's prime minister.
The Israeli prime minister's spokesman just confirmed babies and toddlers were found with their heads decapitated in Kfar Aza.
But many of those same media outlets were forced to walk back their reporting, issuing updates like this one. Israel cannot confirm the specific claim that babies were beheaded in Hamas attack. Later that day, during a press conference, American President Joe Biden claimed he had seen photographs of beheaded babies, saying,
"I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children."
The White House later retracted the statement and published this correction. US official and the president have not seen pictures nor confirmed such reports independently, but the damage had been done. Biden's initial claims were already featured on the front pages of many news outlets and continued to be cited in some quarters as justification for revenge attacks and the collective punishment of civilians in Gaza. Once these claims went viral, other journalists who were on the same visit to Kfar Aza on the 10th of October say, "No one spoke to me about beheadings, let alone beheadings of children, let alone beheadings of 40 children." Another Israeli journalist said, "During the tour, we didn't see any evidence of this, and the army spokesperson or commanders also didn't mention any such incidents." Sky News correspondent on the ground also confirms not being able to confirm these claims.
We have not seen the evidence of that. We have asked the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, 3 times to confirm those numbers. They have not yet.
Later, the same journalist that broadcasted the claims of the spokesman of Israel's prime minister posted an apology, saying, "The Israeli government now says today it cannot confirm babies were beheaded. I needed to be more careful with my words, and I am sorry." Hamas has denied claims that its fighters beheaded children, calling them lies. As details continue to emerge from the aftermath of the Kfar Aza attack, the line between facts and misinformation has blurred. Lies and half-truths have been disseminated by officials and mainstream media in what is becoming a propaganda war.
So, just to be clear, you can lie, flat out lie, report unsubstantiated, absolute bullshit, which triggers wholesale support for a genocidal action against a people, and keep your job. But you can refuse to do that, to lie and report on unsubstantiated bullshit and legitimize unsubstantiated bullshit and lose your job. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the lies just, keep unraveling. I've been following the heartbreaking and in-depth reporting at Electronic Intifada, and they reported yesterday. I'm going to share this here. They reported that Israeli forces shot their own civilians, according to a kibbutz survivor. So there she is there, and she gave several interviews,
Wait, hold
and
on a second. Hold on a second. It's not
here
on
she
the
is.
screen. There it is. Yeah.
There it is. Okay, so Israeli forces shot their own civilians, including, she says, this kibbutz survivor. So she's there. An Israeli woman who survived the Hamas assault on settlements near the Gaza boundary on October 7th says Israeli civilians were undoubtedly killed by their own security forces, and it happened when Israeli forces engaged in fierce gun battles with the Palestinian fighters. She says they eliminated everyone, including the hostages. There was very, very heavy crossfire, even tank shelling. And she said prior to that, she and other civilians have been held by Palestinians for several hours and treated humanely, and she later fled. So, I mean,
Can I just piggyback off of that, or veggie back, or whatever we're supposed to be saying now?
I've never heard that before.
Because that's from hanging out with Geechee.
That's so cute. Okay.
And then he does a whole other one too. Can I tofu rap back off of something like that? He's got a whole thing. But because I've also been following Electronic Intifada and got that same and got from their YouTube channel because that was an interview from Israeli State Radio. So you can hear her giving this interview, and then you just read the translation. It's in Hebrew. But I just wanted to highlight the point that you ended with, that she says, and she has to repeat herself because the interviewer he's like, wait, say that again. Because when she says, oh no, they treated us humanely. They were very, the people the people, the Hamas fighters that took us hostage were not violent at all. They were very concerned about our stress levels, something to that effect. And she said when they saw us getting stressed, they calmed us down. And then she goes through the story of saying how one of them that she had developed a rapport with and become friendly with had said, I'm now going to surrender, and it started to sound like the now I'm drawing a blank. The Eldridge Cleaver, Bobby Hutton story, because he starts telling her, I want to surrender. And she says she's shocked by the fact that he starts to disrobe so that he can go out and show that he's unarmed. And then she says he goes out and says, I'm unarmed and I want to surrender. And basically they just shoot everybody, including her neighbors and the civilians that were there. So she said she lost basically the whole neighborhood. They killed the whole neighborhood. They firebombed houses. And she's saying, we're just a kibbutz. We're just a small, we're a little settlement. So you start firebombing to get them, you're obviously going to get us. So she's saying, and then he has to keep asking her, to repeat herself. Did they treat you humanely? And are you sure that our civilians were killed by our forces? And that's what she has to say repeatedly, undoubtedly. It was and then that she lost a whole bunch of her. So in addition to that story on Electronic Intifada, I mean, they've been talking about obviously the horrors of what Palestinians are suffering, and getting some reports from the few people that have some cell service left that can get some calls in and out here and there. And you're hearing, I mean, they're turning, as it was reported, hospitals into graves, and there's all this discussion of preparing for a land invasion. And what it's going to be like, and what is it, the Qassam forces, defending against Israeli ground forces, and having all the tunnel systems, and what is that going to look like, and what is the media going to look like when Israelis are really coming up in large numbers as casualties in response to that? Will Hezbollah's crew get involved, who are much more sophisticated and prepared for ground warfare and all that kind of, I mean, and all at the far end, and I'll stop here, but all at the far end is Netanyahu and his crew and his cronies, who at the end of the day, as Chomsky wrote 30 years ago, they want this. They like this. They benefit from this. They were even talking about on Electronic Intifada how Netanyahu is his biggest concern at this point is defending his legacy, which will now be marred as falling down during this security crisis that allowed for this invasion. And he's willing, like any lunatic, to do anything to personally save his own legacy and remind people that he's the tough guy and not the one that got run over. And so they're expecting it to get worse. Imagine, if you can imagine, running out of water, all this. I mean, it's just it's so.
Yeah, and the entire narrative. I mean, I was trying to kind of escape some of the, because it's very stressful having all of this go on at the same time, like all of this internationally, as far as, you know, there's the impending invasion of Haiti, that, you know, we're with bated breath, you know, hoping that it doesn't happen, you know, trying to raise awareness, to get people to, you know, put pressure on whomever so that doesn't happen. You know, there are the ongoing protests in Peru against the coup government and its fascist forces there. You know, there is this situation of the, you know, people fighting for their liberation in Palestine. There's the media narrative around it that's a complete mess, and then there's all the personal stuff going on with me, right? So it's been very stressful. So I just tried to just to tune it all out and just watch some football and have some mindless. And why was the NFL like having a moment of silence for the senseless terrorist attacks
Really?
on Israel? Never in the history of the NFL or any sports league in the United States have they ever had a moment of silence for the senseless terrorist attacks committed by Israel against the Palestinian people. The entire narrative about the Hamas attack, those people were breaking out of an open air prison.
So
that was a prison break.
But so they're saying you cannot take a knee for Black people, but you can have a moment of silence for Israel.
Look here.
I have to admit, again, I'm naive. I'm shocked to hear that they went that far.
And I'm trying so hard not to get us another strike. But I think I have to make this clear. And I'm not speaking for anybody else but
bye,
Jacqueline
everybody.
Guzman. But I will say, number one, there's no such thing as an innocent settler, if you understand what settler colonialism is. And a lot of people don't. This is why I'm going to have to do a show on settler colonialism to explain what it is, because y'all just think it's a nice thing. Y'all just think it's people who came to visit who just decided, hey, this is really nice. Can we stay? Do you mind? That's not settler colonialism. Settler colonialism is by nature and definition a violent process of land theft and dispossession of indigenous people. So that's number one. So there are no innocent settlers. Number two, Gaza is an open air prison. There is literally a wall surrounding Gaza, keeping those people in checkpoints so that the Palestinian people cannot move freely from outside of Gaza to the rest of their homeland that was stolen from them. And there is a blockade imposed upon the residents of Gaza by land, air, and sea that controls what goods go in and out. That includes food and water and medicine. So these people are imprisoned by the government of the people who stole their land. And they are aided in that imprisonment by the United States government. So when you have, let me say this as carefully as I can, when you have a rave next to a concentration camp, I'm just going to leave that right there. When you have a rave next to a concentration camp and you're settlers anyway, what you want me to say?
And also, I believe the story was coming out that that's another situation where IDF soldiers shot their own civilians. So lots of misinformation going around here. Yeah, my weekend was trying to detangle a lot of the Islamophobia happening in religious communities and the funding of um, Israel by conservative Christians and their propaganda that they have. So there are a lot of feelings with Israel, Israelis, Jewish people being the chosen people and having to make room for that sort of idea, saying, well, if they're the chosen people, then clearly the Palestinians just need to move, which is not, not correct. So,
And
yeah.
and that was also part of what Electronic Intifada was talking about a lot yesterday, and I'm sure more will be discussed there today about the reporting is, as I heard on their platform, that yes, Israel wants. And I even saw, I got to shout him out. I saw a clip of Mark Lamont Hill in exchange with some Israeli official and got into it pretty strong with him relative to a TV journalist space. And but the point was, Israel is saying we want to get rid of all of these millions of Palestinians and have them maybe make a deal with Egypt and have them go over there. Of course, Egypt having less resources than in Israel, but at the same time bombing them, not letting them go back to their homes that are now destroyed, most of which, and then also attacking them as they flee. So it's are you really, and then even the idea that and then condemning people where apparently the UN has even refused to call for a ceasefire in a sort of rare, they're not even calling for a ceasefire. And then as we got, as Erica provided for us in the stories, France is banning protests.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my students asked, so I got two questions. I got a lot of questions in class yesterday, and one of the questions that I struggled with to answer in a classroom setting, as much as I would struggle here, is, well, one was, Dr. Ball, can you give us a quick summary of Israel Palestine, like what's going on, like just like the basics? Can you do that real quick? And I'm like. So one colonized the other. That's the shortest I can do it. But the other question was, after we had some discussion, one student said, well, because she was saying, well, if we don't want violence, what are Palestinians supposed to do? And I really got stuck trying to answer that.
Though.
And that's the right, yeah.
But that's the right question.
Exactly.
And that's a reasonable question to ask. The answer is to end the occupation. So.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back and found, and I'm going to use this in the class because I was really struggling with how to answer that question, because my answer there is what Dr. King said of quoting Kennedy: those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. And if you don't allow people to vote, they elected Hamas. If you don't allow people to have control over their land and their resources, or to democratically participate, if you keep breaking treaty deals, if you keep extending settlements, if you keep assassinating and killing and bombing and running over even American girls who are there trying to protest, if you even steamroll them. My goodness, if you're sniping children who at most have been said to have thrown a rock, at most, like if what then are you supposed to do? And then I keep telling my own 17-year-old story: homeless for 2 weeks, crime. So I mean, it's like tree-lined streets, homeless, crime. It's just quick, immediate, no questions asked. So you talk about generations, and then I'm gonna look over the hill and see you living in my old house. I mean,
that I still have the key for? Come on.
Still got the deed? Come on.
So it's like, what do you want? So I went back, and I'm gonna use this clip. I found an old clip of Edward Said in conversation with Michael Hitchens. And Hitchens basically says the same thing. And Hitchens almost puts it to him, Christopher Hitchens, I'm sorry. Hitchens puts it to him, to Saeed, saying, what do you want to have happen? And in the way he framed it, I took it as he was saying, I get it. If violent uprisings, I get it. Saeed's response was, I think they make it worse for us. And what we need to call for as Palestinians is mass uprisings and protests to make Israeli occupation untenable.
That's what they did in 2018. That's what they did.
Granted, this was in early 2000 or late 99. So
okay, well, but still.
And again, Saeed is not here. Neither of them are here anymore, for that matter. But that was my question. Because as I'm hearing him say that, I was saying that's even a hell of a fine line. Mass global uprising and protest without even being accused of falling into violence. That would then re-justify the increased repression. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask of people being oppressed. Like people got to respond just
it's
strategically,
conundrum. It's the perfect victim trap, right? It doesn't matter how violent and abusive the oppressor is, if the victims do not respond in the perfect martyred way. Basically, if we don't die, if we do everything and anything except for die valiantly, then it's our fault. Then our oppression continues to be our fault. And the uprisings in 2018, which was the right of return uprising, the March of Return, I think it was called, where they did and I know what you're talking about. The interview you were talking about was before then, but see, this is the problem with people not knowing history. This isn't even history from 100 years ago. I'm not even asking people to understand that Palestine wasn't even the British to give to these European Jews calling themselves Israel, which is how this happened, right? And okay, fine, you don't know that history and the UN vote on partition and how the US came in and threatened other countries to vote for the partition that originally voted against it because they knew it was unfair, because the UN was trying to give this new nation state, Israel, a majority of Palestinian land, 51% of Palestinian land, which would have given this new nation state government a majority over the indigenous people and that was all brokered by the British. Okay, fine. You don't know that history? Cool. Don't tell me there's no excuse for you not to know about the March of Return in 2018, where the Palestinian people literally just marched up to the fence, marched up to the partition wall in Gaza, demanding a return, the internationally recognized right of refugees to return to their homes. And they were shot down and assaulted. Thousands were injured by live fire and munitions from the Israel army. Hundreds were shot dead, including children. So what are Palestinians supposed to do really is the perfect question. But that is the question that no one in corporate media or in the US or in the West that's not out in the streets actively advocating for Palestinian liberation, that's the question people don't want to ask.
Right on. Yeah. As difficult as it is, I mean, do we want to try? I know we got Ear Doctor coming back. We're going to have to try to transition to some other bits of news. Okay, you're ready, Ear Doctor? Okay, my bad. Come on up.
I stay ready. You know what I mean? I'll be here for transitions. I felt like it was time for y'all to do your transition. So, bam, here I am. Yo, while we doing that on transitions, let's give a big up to our supporters here. We got Brother Jamil, Assalamu
Hey,
alaikum. Alaikum
thank you.
assalam.
Big
Black
bro in
unity.
the building.
Thank
It's
you.
our time to thrive.
Thank you,
Thanks,
thank you.
y'all. Let's go. All right.
I'm trying to set up a coffee between him and Diallo.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
Think before you type. Thanks for the 199. Zionism is for Israel, what Nazism is for Germany. Okay.
Sounds.
All right. Also, another one. He's busting another
That's
one.
exactly.
$1.99. Reminds
Right.
me
Yep.
of the incubator
That
propaganda.
Rand-inspired story, right? That was Rand Corporation, right? Wasn't
That's
that?
right.
And it was Biden. Didn't he just say that what Hamas did is tantamount to the Holocaust? Wasn't he?
Yes.
Wasn't he?
That
Yeah.
Holocaust lie was early.
I know.
Day
It's
one,
like,
they were like,
dang.
"It's the Holocaust, y'all," and I was
It's
like,
dang,
"Really?
How
Wow."
they kill 6.5 million people that quick?
Meanwhile, as that woman reported herself, they were treating us humanely and giving us water and not touching us. And that's
Hey.
Because
Think before
they're
you
devout
type is balling
Muslims,
out.
and they wouldn't do anything other than that. But
and I forgot the part where Jews were living in the former homes of Nazis that they had stolen in some concocted. Is that what was happening? I'm
ouch.
sorry. That's what the Hitler's propaganda was advocating? We need our houses back. That's what Lebensraum meant. That's what it meant. Get the houses. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. But I know Biden is fully facultied and on top of his game. So
His speech was like, "We support Israel." Like,
you woke up for that part, huh?
don't try it.
Right.
It was not great.
Yeah, don't try it, Hezbollah.
Think before you type. About to get up to $10 here. Another one.
I mean,
Thanks for the great
Thank
reporting,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Speaking
Thank
of getting
you.
to $10, think before you type. Said I got $4.99 to make that $10. Can you check this article where Benjamin was secretly
Stop it.
Yahoo. Wow.
Satan Yahoo. I like
recorded
it.
title Benjamin.
I saw
America
that.
is a thing you can move very easily.
I saw that. That was a leaked. I think that was an interview of a leaked conversation where it just looked like he was having a conversation with some people like in his living room, and he was explaining how easy it was to manipulate U.S. politicians and U.S. sentiment for Israel, and it was, oh my gosh!
I thought that I seem to remember that something like that being said around Obama's first term. That wasn't that part of the of why they knew they could do that white phosphorus attack during his inauguration or something like that. If my memory should not be at all trusted. I think there was something that in other words, that sentiment, if this is a recent statement, that sentiment is itself old. The idea that the U.S. can be manipulated somewhat easily when but
yeah, the interview I saw, it wasn't a recent one. It was a couple of years old. It was clearly a few years old, but yeah, he clearly was like, oh, the America, they're easy to manipulate. All you have to do is, and yeah, just
Big up Infinite Content, $5. Can we shout out Colombia for expelling the Israel ambassador due to the violence in Gaza?
yes, we should. Shout out to the not even a complete leftist Petro, President Petro.
Let me find out a Jamu's time down there is well spent. In Charo down there doing that work. That's what it is. They was in to get rid of that movie.
Think before you type. Said, in case you didn't hear me the first time, let me say it again. Zionism is for Israel, Nazism is for Germany. All right, and last but not least, your brother's coming through again with the $1.99. He said, "I'll match your $1.99."
Cappuccino and brotherhood,
and accepted the invitation for some cappuccino.
Oh no! That's. Jamila's ready. We gotta get the schedule with Diallo together. We got to get his travel schedule worked out.
Okay.
And
yeah. So we're gonna take a
happen.
quick break right here, and we're gonna come back with some more for you right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Show. 。 call them pirates, illegal broadcasters, just because we play what the people want. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome out, y'all, to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And yes, you can hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Hit the subscribe button so you can know all the dope shows that's coming your way. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get to flashbacks. Let's talk about what's been coming on this channel. Since if you're not caught up, let me help catch you up. So, in case you were under a rock this Sunday, let me put you on to what happened on Sundays. So Sundays, we had I had Miss Dia, pretty dope Dia, come through as usual, and we were talking about the top. What was he talking about? The Mount Rushmore of R&B, and we started in the '80s, and we thought who would be on that Mount Rushmore of R&B. So let's check it out and see what had to be said.
Between Janet and Sade, that's a little hard for me to pick. Because although I love Sade, love her music, Janet was everything. Janet had the videos. Janet had, Janet was everything, Yeah, so that's a tough one.
So I'm gonna run with this.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Sade.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Lou. All right, you got to go and check out. You got to go and check out the rest of that one. You got to check out the rest of that one to find out what our Mount Rushmore of R&B was in the '80s. We did the '80s, we did the '90s, and the 2000s. Another show that you should have caught. Speaking of Sundays, let's go to a day before that. Let's talk about Saturdays. Saturdays with Dr. Ball and Renee. Now, Renee was on her pettiness. Let's find out why Renee was on her pettiness.
And while I'm sitting there, somebody comes in to tell me that these quote unquote revolutionary Black people are on their live stream talking shit. And so like, all right, I decided I was going to engage my Jared level petty.
She got Jared level petty. Oh man, you got to go check that out and find out how petty she really got. All right, and last but not least, man, we had a big show up for Confronting Contradiction with Coco. She was talking about Europeans. Let's see what she said about Europeans.
There's not enough resources. I don't know what it is. Why can't Europeans, and maybe I sound ignorant for this. You can call me out. Let me know if I'm being ignorant. Why can't Europeans exist in Europe?
That's a good question. Go find out why they can't on Confronting Contradictions. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning Crew. You know how we do. All right.
Yeah.
Coco show is great.
Mm-hmm.
That was
6,000 views.
Yeah, she
another
killed
great
it.
question.
But because I was a follower of Dr. John Henrik Clarke and read his reading list to the best of my ability, I've read at least a chunk of Lady Lugard's A Tropical Dependence. And out the gate, she answers Coco's question. We can't survive in Europe without colonizing the rest of the planet. There ain't no food, ain't no spice, ain't no sun, ain't no flavor, ain't no crops, ain't no labor, ain't no nothing, ain't no blue seas and none of that warm sun. She's like, as soon as white folks peeked over and saw what was what, it was on and popping. And I think another part of Coco's question is, why can't Europeans engage the rest of the world without that whiteness attached? Why can't they engage as humans as opposed to conquerors? And, I know that's an ongoing debate, but I mean, damn, but they've been clear. We can't stay over here. Ain't nothing over here.
They're like, have you seen over here? Why
Hey, a virus can't live if it ain't got nothing to attach on to.
Like London still hasn't seen a sun. They still being rained on over there. They mad as hell. That's why. So yeah,
Yeah. So go check those shows out. Bunch of dope shows on here. So just
And Renee went in on RBN though.
Oh yeah.
I'm just put it out there.
Oh, I missed
so
that.
yeah,
I missed
people.
that.
Oh yeah, if people aren't clear of the differences between RBN and BPM, Renee, I think she finished that off. Like if anybody was still confused.
Okay.
So.
And check out Sundays too. I won't be here this Sunday. I will be going all next week. So yeah.
For what?
I'm going to Mexico, bro.
For what?
DJ Coalition thing.
I don't know why you whispering this. I feel like this needs to be a big BPM event. Why not? Why are we not getting some broadcasts?
What is this? The international DJ syndicate that you can't tell us about?
I'll bring back pictures. You know what I mean?
Shady.
I don't know how the reception is over there. I ain't never
his
been.
DJ conference.
What happens on the island in Mexico?
It's a celebration. Celebration.
DJ Island.
Yeah, we gonna be competing.
Yeah, DJ Island, right? Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what it is.
We don't want no video.
Yeah, I catch you on next break.
Yeah.
International DJ syndicate. That's fantastic.
Terrible. Oh, that's it. The International DJ Syndicate. Yeah. So I know, just quickly, I know I had said something about moving on from that story, but I did want to quickly share, and I'll put the link in the chat. Dr. Joy James sent this out and wanted to just let folks know that there has been a dispatch from the Palestinian youth movement. I know that chapters are active around these parts, and many of our viewers are engaged with them. And just at least from the first paragraph here, and their goal is to, as they say, we hope this bulletin will help guide what principled solidarity can look like right now within the imperial core, and arm those in solidarity with us with tools to resist the military-industrial complex that is hell-bent on our people's extermination. Your priority must be communicating a set of realities clearly and unequivocally. 2.4 million Palestinians are currently being held hostage by Zionists who are martyring thousands with genocidal impunity. The crossings are closed. The Zionists are indiscriminately using bombs and internationally prohibited weapons on a densely populated concentration camp full of entrapped civilians. There is no water or electricity. Mass arrests of Palestinians across all of historic Palestine add to the hundreds of administrative detainees imprisoned without charge who are now suffering additional retribution by the colonial regime. Gazan hospitals, which are already graveyards, are themselves being targeted, and at least 13 have already been hit. 7 confirmed members of the press have been martyred. The news stations are regularly being cut due to the lack of electricity. Ambulances and the Red Crescent are also being deliberately targeted. Universities and mosques have been destroyed. Entire families are being wiped out. At least 45 entire families that we have seen reported. And this is just a small sampling of what is happening in Gaza right now, owing to a reporting blackout which is aided and abetted by genocidal Western media machine. So just, obviously in solidarity with them, I'll put the link in the chat so people can read and share the entire statement. I think it's important, even just what was said there, in addition to all else, to remind people that Palestine does involve, or did involve, and tries to involve what we would think of in terms of quote unquote civilization. Universities, hospitals, entertainment spaces, theater, music, art. I mean, they do. So, we're not encouraged to think of them as human beings who engage as other human beings do. We just think of them in terms of the news we get around what is being defined as terrorism or some other ridiculous claim. So anyway, putting this in the chat now.
Yeah. And now is the, I'm talking about the Black Alliance for Peace. We have always tried to make these connections between the oppression that is meted out against the Palestinian people and other oppressed people around the world with the oppression that we face right here. I mean, it is no coincidence that all of these cop cities are being proposed all across the country now And we're talking about, and we have been talking about the way local police departments have always been training with the IDF, and the way the Palestinian, the way the Israeli military, abuses Palestinian people, especially the youth and children. They teach those tactics to U.S. police forces. And that kind of transfer of oppression knowledge, oppression tactics, that's just going to be expanded through these cop cities. So we have to make these connections. The kind of, this multinational police force that Kenya is going to lead, going into Haiti, wanting to go into Haiti. The Kenyan police are a bunch of psychopaths themselves, with their own problems, abusing their own people. They are going to export that same abuse to Haiti with the backing and the support of the same U.S. that supports this genocidal machine in Israel. It's all connected, and now is the time for us to make these connections and stand in unflinching, unbreakable international solidarity with each other, because that's the only thing that's going to break the back of this imperialist beast. Excuse me.
Right on. Anything you two want to get to? Any stories you got?
I am not clicking on anything.
Okay. I got the run sheet. I can pull that up whenever you want, but go ahead.
Yeah, I do have
got
one.
something. Yeah.
Hopefully I can pull it up too, because my internet's not great. I think it's important, like we always say, to connect the settler colonial states that exist around the world, and that includes Australia. Share this story where our indigenous siblings were denied their rights again constitutionally. Australians vote no in a referendum. Oh, it's not shared. Let's see.
Oh, hold on, I got it. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Thanks. Australians vote no in a referendum that promised change for First Nations people but couldn't deliver. With a two-letter word, Australians struck down the first attempt at constitutional change in 24 years. Preliminary results from the AEC suggested that most of the country's 17.6 million registered voters vote no on their ballots. The proposal was to recognize Indigenous people in the Constitution and create an Indigenous body to advise the government on policies that affect them, etc. But that's a no from the Australians on Indigenous sovereignty, which is not
No, you're not a
surprising.
people.
No, thank you. Nice try. Come back later.
We have enough
From
people in
Australia.
Australia. No more people.
So
Oh my God, the settlers, Jesus.
And again, the very where is Australia located again? Where geographically are they located again? Somewhere not close to the North Atlantic.
No.
In which they are still part of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So how does that? I'm still struggling to figure that part out. Spent a lot of time in the North Atlantic floating around. Not once did we come across no parts of Australia.
Are you sure, Jared? Are you sure you just weren't?
Maybe I'm not. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not. You know,
Are you sure
question.
you weren't just loafing those days that the boat circled Australia?
No, I know I didn't miss it. Do you know why I didn't miss it? Because black male sailors have legends about their time with white women in Australia. So the goal quite often was to get down there. And my 4 years never saw that happen. But I heard it was endless legends from brothers who had made it down there. It is white women heaven for black male sailors. So
Ew.
So I'm quite sure we never touched ground there. Otherwise, I would have another set of stories to share, or
Thank
not.
God you
Maybe
don't.
not.
Thank you.
I don't think I want to be a part of that conversation.
Uh-uh.
To be honest.
So no, but that is my number one bit of evidence for how I know we didn't touch ground in Australia while floating through the North Atlantic, because I got nothing to share. So, but they are very much part of that NATO deal. So yeah, right on. And no, on indigenous.
No, go ahead,
sovereignty.
Jared. Sorry.
No, that was it. Just bringing it back to the no on indigenous sovereignty.
Just and just the what who the hubris, the arrogance, like who are you that you get to decide that another group of human beings do not deserve to govern themselves? That is
so not only that, but I mean, down to the smallest details. So not only do colonized communities not have a right to self-govern or claim sovereignty, they don't even apparently still have the right to choose their hairstyles. Because we're still getting these stories. Black student suspended over his hairstyle to be sent to an alternative education program. And this comes, like, I just saw another story. Well, anyway, this one is after serving more than a month of in-school suspension over his dreadlocks, a Black student in Texas was told he will be removed from his high school and sent to a disciplinary alternative education program on Thursday. Daryl George, 18, is a junior at Barbers Hill High School at Mont Bellevue and has been suspended since August 31st. He will be sent to EPIC, an alternative school program, from October 12th through November 29th for failure to comply with multiple campus and classroom regulations, the principal said in a Wednesday letter provided to the Associated Press by the family. So, and that I saw, can I quickly find this other one? There was another story in the sports world that I just saw reported, and I'm not going to find it, but a wrestler and a couple of other athletes got the similar treatment, and they showed the one wrestler being forced by a white referee to have his locks cut right there on the side of the wrestling mat. Here it is. I'll share this real quick.
Yeah, wasn't that a couple of years ago? I think I remember that.
Well, I thought this story just came out 16 hours ago.
Oh my God, it happened again.
So I'm assuming this is, maybe I didn't pay enough attention, but here I'll share it real quick. At least this is the video of it.
Everyone remember when New Jersey high school wrestler Andrew Johnson was forced to cut his hair or be DQ'd from a match?
Because now, the news story is this Black girl got her cut from a team for not taking her braids out. So that's what he was doing with the story. He was referring to that older story to talk about this latest version where a Black girl was cut or being told she can't play on her baseball or softball team or whatever, because as you see the braids, and she was said that the braids covered her number. The umpire was saying that because the braids, which obviously is not true, covered her number, she was forced to take them out or not be allowed to play. So from sovereignty to hair, there's just no.
Look.
So I want to say, like, there's a question about, doesn't it violate the Crown Act? And it's true. That's what I forgot the young man's name. The lawyer is arguing, but the Crown Act outlaws discrimination of hair texture and styles, but they're trying to get around it by saying, well, the dress code of the school district says a hair length can be a certain length. So they're trying to use length instead of hair texture and style to discriminate against him. So
right. And
that's
then
kind
when
of the
he put
case.
his hair up to address
tried to go
that,
back.
then still, yeah. So I got to tell you, I don't know how, I do not know how these parents.
We right there, Jackie. We right there.
If
you put your hand on my child, I'm already out the bleachers. Out the bleachers.
Like when I told my dad what happened to me, now I'm 56. So, but my dad
your family get down.
He was like, "Say they did what now?" And we were on the phone, and he was like, "Who did what? Who? What? Who? What his name is? What?" Like, and I'm grown, so I don't understand how part of these stories are not. And the child's parents were arrested for assaulting.
Why is that never the hot headline? That would exactly be Morgan State faculty member found charging the field after referee put hand. I mean, it would be the idea. And then the boy went out there and won that wrestling match on top of that. I didn't even know that. Like, he went out and won after that.
Of course he did.
Well, and did you see the white kid, hyping up, like, it's okay? Like, how the hell would you know? Ain't nobody ever cut your hair on the side. Woo! I don't know how
the public humiliation is just absurd.
It just, ooh.
Can I tell y'all that it don't look like it, but that happened to me? In the 8th grade, me and my homeboy Timon Funches was the two that had box fades that was like high. The principal came into the room with a ruler and said, "Your box fade cannot be over 3 inches." Your box fade cannot be over 3 inches.
They were measuring the box fade.
She came in with a ruler. And next day we had to come and pat our box fades down the next day a little bit. I was like, ain't this some bullshit?
They ain't got nothing better. They had nothing better to do. Nothing better to do.
Couldn't get you school lunches, nutritious.
I was trying to get my hot top fade like Big Daddy Kane, and they just came and tried to mess my whole flavor. 89, I ain't never gonna forget.
That's
I had
wild.
The Bally's and the high top fade, just like Kane.
Okay.
That I have little fantasies of that level of overstepping happening, just so I can have an excuse. Like, would somebody please? I can't even. Yeah, I wish him would, boy. I tell you, boy, it wouldn't be no more Jared on remixes. I tell you that. Get Jackie some health care and Jared some bail money would be the call on BPM, boy. I tell you, boy. Because boy.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Oh,
measuring the box fade.
Measuring a box fade.
That's crazy.
With a ruler.
That's insane.
I mean, I was like, yo, don't be mad because your hair don't defy gravity. That says what it is. All right, with that said, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break and come back with some more right here on the Remix Morning Show. Boy, you couldn't tell me nothing back in 89 with my box fade. I had the little dye joint right there with the cuts and the little cuts in the eyebrow. Shoot, man. Anyway, big up to all y'all tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe button. We got 459 people watching right now, so we need 459 likes if possible. All right, with that said, we're going to go ahead and get to a quick artist spotlight. Who do I want to talk about today? No other than a man called Junior Reed. Yes. Also known as Delroy Junior Reed. Straight out of Jamaica. He's a reggae and dancehall artist. You might know him for his songs One Blood, This Is Why I'm Hot, a remix he did. And he was also the lead vocalist for Black Uhuru on 3 albums they put out, Brutal, Positive, and Black Uhuru Live in New York. Now, he was born in Kingston, Jamaica in Waterhouse District, very tough and rough neighborhood. And he started doing his first single he dropped was at the age of 13 called Speak the Truth. After that, he did another one in 81 called Know Thyself, and he was actually heard by another reggae artist that went by the name of Sugar Minott. And Sugar Minott had a youth label, which he got on and did some production and also did some songs. So he was also into his production. So he was doing this thing, and then next thing you know, he got a call to be the lead singer on Black Uhuru, and he raised Black Uhuru to the next level, and it was real good. Real good. He also got nominated for Brutal in 1986, which was the album they put out. Other than that, he's been putting out albums and songs. One of his biggest one, like I said, One Blood, has been used by so many people. We're talking about Wu-Tang Clan used it. We're talking about Game used it on this It's Okay One Blood. Mims redid it on This Is Why I'm Hot remix he did. Jim Jones, Max B, everybody, all these hip-hop artists, even Alicia Keys brought him out for her music award performance. He's that guy. So, and one of his biggest tracks is Welcome to My Hood, a remix done by DJ Khaled on his album. So, if you don't know, you might want to go check out this brother. He got over 20 albums solo. 3, like I said, with Black Uhuru. And he's that guy. So check him out. No other than a man them called Junior Reed. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning Crew. You know how we do. All right.
I say we crazy, we cross, and we crazy, we don't take no talk. Real man not from Kingston, real man from New York, real man from London, not just
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So there you go. Junior Reed, one of my favorite songs, One Blood, which was a unification song to unite all black people on some Pan-Africanism. So, yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody shout out the Game's remix of it. He took it in the opposite direction, though, politically. I mean, he's like, he took
for his blood culture.
Yeah, it was, but.
Yeah. But that's it. That's our Junior Reed for you. I will catch y'all at the end of the show with a little mix.
Yes, indeed.
Sweet.
Pay us what you owe us.
Mm-hmm. Infinite
so where
content.
Should we go next? Yeah.
What do you mean?
What happened?
Infinite content is say what now?
I got to go to urgent care. Can't put weight on my left leg. Somehow my knee got messed up while I slept. Damn.
It's that middle-aged sleep disease. That's what happens when you, because I be fucking myself up in my sleep. I don't know how. I was fine when I went to bed. I wake up, I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. I'm limping. I don't know why. I think I'll be breakdancing in my sleep. I think that's what happens. I think that might be what's going on with you, Infinite Content. I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. But,
fight in mine.
If you're dreaming and you're doing really physical stuff in your dreams, you're probably like hopping up and doing those things, and you're dream parkouring and things like that. Just so take stronger sleep aids so that you don't dream.
And I would this but I apparently fight in my sleep, and it's been a little scary for my wife on occasion. But I gotta figure that part out because I have no memory of it. Ask Jared when the last actual physical fight he had. Oh, it's been, it's the last real for real one. It's been 30 years. I mean, I'm 52. It's been early 20s. I haven't had a real, not a real one. So if we take away all of the hold me backs and you lucky.
Wait, how many were there, Jared? Because he said if you take away all of the backs.
Oh, many.
How many?
There's so many. I've been in so many. Seriously, over the years, because you got to remember, in the 20s in particular, a lot of that, it's a lot of drinking, a lot of bars, a lot of clubs, a lot of late night, early mornings, wrong places. And in many cases, I think I'm lucky. I've sold a few Wolf tickets and gotten away with it and slunk away, avoiding fights. Oh yeah, there's been. Those are the ones I remember more than anything.
Wow.
Where I've been confronted and walked away like that. All of those I remember vividly. Like when poker players talk about the hands they've lost. Those are just brutal memories for me. But yeah, a lot of them. A lot, just inappropriately, a lot. It took me a while to calibrate some of these things. But also sometimes, I will say a good percentage are on principle too. That I would engage on principle, and so it's not just all nonsense. But yeah, it was a lot. And if you take away like the little pushing and the, somebody wildly swung, but somebody stepped in and broke it up, like those things I don't count. I'm saying when there's just two of you and no one.
I don't even have these categories. That's why I wanted to know. I was like, wow, what is this life? Okay. Love that.
So when Ear Doctor can say, I still marvel at this, that he says he has never been in a one-on-one fight. I just don't see. I am still in that retrograde manhood state that I don't see how that's even possible. I'm amazed that any male could make it that far without one conflict. So I'm sure I'm wrong here. I'm not making any sense, but that's just the mindset, the logic. Because I found them unavoidable. I mean, and when I did avoid them, it was painful. It's just hard. Like my spirit is hurt. But at some point you got to. So, and in fact, the last one should have taken place on Morgan State's campus not that long ago by a former employee who he did every single thing other than physically make contact that would encourage. And I'm still amazed it didn't happen. He absolutely deserved every bit of it. And I'm amazed he got none of it. But that's a testimony to my maturity and my fatherhood and my, proper choice in a wife.
So, no, the last one really should have happened when dude at, what was that conference you went to with
the
guy
trying to.
That's the last one that should have happened.
No.
It's like, don't let me hug you.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't think Reggie deserved any of that. I think I just
never let me have any violent.
I know.
Fun.
I'm sorry.
And these are how I get into fights. When people are like, "Let me touch you," and I'm like, "No, please don't." So.
But because I'm trying to really since I became consciously politically active, I have made it I've really worked very. And I'm not trying to. I've never been a fighter. I've really have never been like my temper is always worse than my bark is louder than my bite. But the conscious effort to not enter these spaces with that energy or to let it get to that level. It has required some work, but it's been conscious to say that the next actual fight I have is going to be part of the real one. That's why it's like it's not going to be with some knucklehead at a conference and it's not going to be swinging on some. Hopefully, my goal was like I'm not swinging. It's not going to be fighting some other colonized African either. Is like the next fight is the real one. But
okay, I guess that's very
fantasy epic. I love that.
All right, if we're going to be principled,
the next fight is going to be the real fight.
That's got to be because I only have, like I said, I mean, really, I only have like 10 seconds of physical combat. If you think about it, like for real, 10 seconds. That's all I got at this point.
All you got is a good 10 seconds.
If you think about, I mean, seriously, for those who've been in an actual fight, think about the last time, like what it really takes to fight another.
A lot.
I love the way you say that. And I think you're so right. Yeah. I got about 5 seconds.
All the time. It's 10 seconds. And if it's not over or if I'm not away, I'm in trouble. Like it's going to be call help.
And most of that is adrenaline. Actually, it's not even, most of that is it's adrenaline. Just, and then when the adrenaline wears off, you're exhausted.
You collapse,
And that recovery rate. I mean, I remember those too. Even fights I won the next day. God damn. It's like, ugh.
You sore for a week.
Sore, hand hurts, jaws still. I mean, you still been in a fight.
Took some hits there. Yeah.
So I mean, and then shout out to Mark Murray. Thank God he had gloves on. I'll never forget that brother either. He clocked me so good and it woke me up to the potential that I might be walking. I was like, I gotta stop this life. Like I can't. He had gloves on. I can't fight this man in the street with no gloves on. I'm in trouble. I can't. I gotta. We gotta find other ways to communicate, brother. Let's build. Let's just talk. Let's talk it out. But so no. Only one more left. 10 seconds and one more. That's it.
Okay, I guess we got to make that count. All right.
But that's why when I saw them Palestinians on them makeshift carts flying over the joint, I was like, what?
That's making it count.
That's making... I'll lock in. I'll seatbelt in one of them. I think I can make that work. I was getting excited. I was like, now we talking. Mm-hmm. But some squabble with some knucklehead at a blockchain conference. Come on now, that would have been
okay. Yeah. All right.
All right. Okay. I accept that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. A little bit of news. Thanks to Erica, I could pull this one up until you all gather your next one. Just here quickly, Carly Russell has been found guilty in faked Hoover abduction. Judge recommends a year in jail and $18,000 restitution. I hope she doesn't go to jail.
A year in jail?
I don't want her to go. I don't want her to get any time. She pleaded not guilty to charges of false reporting to law enforcement authorities and falsely reporting an incident. Despite her plea, Judge Brad Bishop found her guilty based on the recommendation of state prosecutors. 1 year in jail and just under $18,000 in restitution. Let's see. There was no jury trial. So this was just a bench. I guess they call it, that's what the bench trial is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no need in having a trial here, knowing their position. Anthony said, we have stipulated and appealed the case and it will start anew in the Bessemer Circuit Court. So there is going to be an appeal. Anthony said Russell's legal team completely disagrees with jail time for a Class A misdemeanor, especially when it's Russell's first offense. So, I don't like the idea of putting people in prison or for mostly anything, but certainly not that. I don't know how you all feel about what she's been accused of or has admitted to, but I don't think the damage warrants all of that, and I think she's going to suffer far more than already just from the backlash. And I'm assuming at some point she's going to have to change her name. Even I don't know.
The proportionality is just off. Like I think jail for that, and also it feels like, Black people can't use a single ounce of public resources. It's like they wouldn't really look for her anyway if she was actually missing. So right. I don't no.
And who did she hurt? Like who did she cause any damage to? I mean, like I said when it happened, the thing that I didn't like was that her parents felt the need to give all of this, do all of these interviews in the press. And I wish they hadn't done that, not because I didn't know whether their daughter was telling the truth or not, but because they don't owe anybody anything. They didn't owe anybody any explanation if she really was abducted. They didn't owe anybody any explanation if she wasn't, if it was something that they didn't owe anybody all of this access that they gave all of these people just because, a few people, said some nasty things in public. That's like I said then, I wish they had not done that because they owed nobody. They didn't owe anybody anything. But so what? She lied. So, well, who did she hurt? So a year in jail, man, come on. For a Class A misdemeanor? Get out of here.
I think only one person went to jail for the 2008 collapse, and it was some low-level banker.
Right.
So Kissinger's still running around, I think, too, right? Didn't he just celebrate his 100th birthday out?
He was chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's still out, breathing free. Who went to jail for the Flint water crisis?
And it has to have been it has to at least be a Class A misdemeanor to fake drink polluted water as a political stunt, right?
You would think.
You would
Yeah.
think,
That
yeah.
is, if anybody deserves a year in jail for something, it would be that. But no, but we got to get our priorities straight. She should get locked down and punished.
God.
And what else should we get to? Anything? Any of these other stories appealing to you in particular? Again, Sister Erica has laced us. The run sheet is full. I can pull something up here.
Yeah, I have one.
Ooh, does she have the? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So this one is about Scholastic, which was a favorite in my childhood. Scholastic book fairs at my elementary school, they have chosen to exclude diverse books.
Sorry, guys.
Of course.
With the new policy. So the Share Every Story, Celebrate Every Voice box is by default excluded from book fairs. Librarians have to opt in to receive these titles. Some of the books include, one by Ketanji Brown Jackson, her biography, which, maybe they don't need to read that. But something else, they released a statement denying. That's abuse. I don't think they need that book. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So it's denying that all diverse books are being kept in a separate box while admitting that they are keeping many LGBTQ and books about BIPOC history aside in response to legislation in many states. So yeah, librarians themselves have to check the box to get these books into the sale.
Oh boy. This place is a failed state. It's a
really
terrible
is.
fascist failed state.
Yeah, we must be. I mean, we really are in a pocket of I guess relative luck, because we don't have that level of insanity around here, but I don't know even what the landscape would look like for parents to get involved and respond if that is in fact the sentiment of the surrounding community. That's just
I mean, depending where you are, books like The Color Purple are not in the library anymore. Like any sort of things that we would consider to be on there that have been on there for like since like the 1970s. Are being taken away.
Yeah, I mean they had been going after Toni Morrison's books long before this recent push to ban books. So it's like it was happening and people weren't paying attention. But it's been going on for quite a while.
So I am not at all familiar, but I would be curious to know, like, who are the newer generationally, like who are the contemporary Toni Morrisons and Alice Walkers and because I've noticed that just in my own daughter's school, like a lot of the books that they read are books I was assigned to read. And I'm like, there has to be a new in the generations into no disrespect. I'm just saying it just feels like there's. Sorry, Lucretia, I think you.
I don't know. It's okay. I'm just trying to think. I don't know in terms of like magic realism or the way Toni Morrison or Alice Walker writes, but I think people would put like oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her name. Well, there's also like Nnedi Okorafor. I think people would put in that category. The sister who wrote. Oh my God. She's Nigerian. Oh, I can't remember her name right now.
I didn't mean to put anybody on the spot. It was just sort of a general thought that, like I'd be interested even going forward if people want to chime in and make suggestions. And I certainly don't read enough nonfiction. So
yeah, see, that's
I'm sorry,
my problem.
fiction. I don't read enough fiction. I keep getting that bad. I do that all the time. That's a particular mental thing with me. But I don't read enough fiction. So I have always been behind on novels and poetry and so But whenever I see my daughter's reading list, it's like, yeah, I know that author. I read that. I'm like, how could I have, or I was assigned that in high school and didn't read it.
Who's the new Octavia Butler?
I mean, I don't know.
That's a good
Again,
question.
I think people would say like Nydia Corafor, and there are others.
Okay.
But she wrote like Binti, she wrote like Akata Witch, and Nydia Corafor, yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm forgetting her name. She's been writing for a while though. Tiana Marie DeVue, I forgot her last name. Yeah, she's a Black writer. Writes a lot of magic realism, sort of sci-fi, that type of stuff. Yeah.
All right. And I know Baba Balagoon has some too. I heard the audio book version of one of his sci-fi books.
Oh yeah, and N.K. Jemisin, right. Oh, sorry, yeah.
No, I don't.
I need to.
These are the authors I read.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to catch up on these people. Sadly, I don't do a lot of fiction either. So it's good to know these because I got a lot of time on my hands now.
Yeah. I'm trying to get like you and read more nonfiction, more, war books, things like that. I'm always in the sci-fi area, so.
Right on. Okay, I'm just looking at some of these names.
Lots of stuff coming. Thanks.
No, Violet Bulawayo. I don't know who that is.
I don't know her. I didn't know that author.
So,
thanks, y'all.
All right. Yeah, thank you all very much.
Nice.
Right on. All right. What else? Anything else? We got, I see this. Is this the story of my man? This is my guy. Now, I've been trying to follow this a little bit, but the story of DJ Envy, real estate ripoff, radio DJ promoted alleged New Jersey scheme, leaving investors out of millions. There is this hilarious, what to me is hilarious clip where on the Breakfast Club, you see Envy starting to respond to claims that he's been ripping people off, and you see Charlemagne saying, I think you should listen to your lawyers and stop talking. And he didn't. And apparently it's not helping him. He just keeps running his mouth and making denials about stuff. And so anyway, the story here says popular radio host DJ Envy is under scrutiny for promoting a real estate venture of a friend that some investors now say was a scheme. On his syndicated iHeart radio show, The Breakfast Club, Envy has promoted the real estate venture of his pal Cesar Pena, but it's more than just a passing endorsement. We've helped so many people, not just regular people, but celebrities, athletes, executives, DJ Envy said on his radio show. Envy and Cesar teamed up for seminars, including one at the convention center, pitching opportunities to flip properties, often in distressed areas of New Jersey. Jose Santiago and his wife, Jessica Ortiz, say they believed investing in a real estate venture in a Patterson neighborhood would be their ticket to the American dream. That's the reason I got into real estate, so we could actually start flipping properties, buying properties so we can have something for our kids in the future, Ortiz told News 4. The couple says they connected with entrepreneur Cesar after seeing him on social media with DJ Envy. He's advertising this all over the radio and television, so I thought this was legit, Santiago said. We invested $200,000, and it looks like we won't ever get it back. So I won't continue on the whole story, but the short of it is that's it. That Envy and his buddy, Pena, were encouraging people to invest with them in purchasing properties and flipping houses, and money just disappeared.
And they were doing this where? In Patterson, New Jersey?
Patterson, New Jersey, and elsewhere. So that's been part of there's a little cottage industry of Black and brown targeting investment folks, and they go to these poor communities and they start talking about flipping houses, but they're in these kinds of communities where, again, the flipping requires someone to come in and buy it after you've raised the price. And so, yeah, but that's it all over the country, not just in Patterson, but there's versions of this. And because of, some of the rabbit holes I've gone down on YouTube, it's this cottage industry of black targeting media with these with cats like Tony the Closer and all these other cats with this very
Closer.
Oh yeah, Tony, and he was one of the main people to expose Envy, having initially started to work with him. And when you see them, their approaches, I mean, these are like, as they say themselves, these are hood cats getting over. So you see people on there, and it's very much like, on the one hand, they're encouraging you to give them hundreds of thousands of dollars for investment opportunities. And apparently Tony the Closer has been very legit and above board and successful. But at the same time, the interaction is very hood-like. It's very much, and there's been a couple videos where even Tony the Closer on, people accusing him of ripping him off, and they're on video. I'll come through and blade up, whoop, and whoop, 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 and do. And I'm like, who is supposed to be inspired to invest? But that's who they're preying on. They're preying on their own community. They're preying on people who are not clear on what's happening and don't have endless resources. And
wow.
Now, I would only want to add that it's not at all shocking to me that bad investment advice would be advertised on an iHeart, formerly Clear Channel media outlet. That this is, but it's. And to be fair, I do agree with some of those who aren't even as radical as we are in critiquing these folks that to prey on your own people in this way is particularly disgusting. Yeah. So,
but that's the nature of capitalism, though. I mean, because just like intracommunal crime, like it's a situation of proximity and opportunity. You're not going to rip off people in somebody else's neighborhood first. You're going to make your bones ripping off people in your own neighborhood first, and then you're going to expand and rip off people in other neighborhoods. Ugh, jeez.
Yeah, the reality show of flipping homes is huge, and I've seen an uptick in black couples or like black women reality show. I'm like, no, I don't want to see this. It's so terrible. Yeah. They're like, we're building black wealth. We're the new Obamas. La 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 la. It's just not great.
No, it's not great. No.
Yeah.
And sorry for the background noise. They're now tearing up. They're demolishing the bigger bathroom now. So, yeah. So
hey, got to make these things happen. It's all good. So we have a few minutes left before Ear Doctor, who I know is studiously preparing for this extended mix he owes us, comes back up here to pay his debt. I mean, and thanks to the remixers for earning it, well over 400, approaching just under 500 live with us.
Isn't he in the hole for 2 mixes? Isn't he?
He does at least owe 2. I feel like, I mean, he dipped out early a couple times.
He did.
He's tried to talk us into 60-second leftover mixes. He's real slick with it. But anyway, please like, share, subscribe. Even oh my goodness, even Ricky has said it's been a great show. So you have to
come on now, extended
subscribe.
mix. Come on,
we got that.
And Ricky has made it clear.
Approval.
Remember, because she says very clear, I don't just be liking until you earn it. So like even Ricky is saying, you
give us the mix. Yeah.
So you gotta click the like, and then mix it up. Ear Doctor.
So let me take you back to 1989. A young man who had this box fade right here. Graduation picture, 8th grade.
Oh,
yes, sir.
I love it.
Look at that. That is even with the little dye.
With the dye.
It's so cute.
And then let's take it to 11th grade when I had the Tretch Naughty by Nature braids.
Ooh.
I had the Tretch Naughty by Nature braids, and I was living in Alabama. They didn't know how to take it. And then the braids went into an older version of me with the locks.
Oh, so cute.
That's me and my little nephew right there. So yeah, I had every hairstyle you can imagine except for a conch. So yeah.
I love that.
yeah, times change.
I kind of want to see hairstyle photos for everybody actually now.
We got to do that.
Looking for one. I don't.
I really want to see.
Please, Jackie.
We're not doing that. No,
I gotta see. I gotta see some of them '80s mushroom dudes. Did you have the mushroom like MC Light type joint?
I don't see any need to have this conversation. This is not beneficial to the show at all.
Oh man, can you see this?
You want to see my Aaliyah swoop over the eye that I had? You don't want to see that?
Oh, look at he look high as a motherfucker.
Oh, what did the Dominican do?
Exactly. I was like, you from the DR? What?
Hola. Backpack.
You transformed from a whole Dominican man.
Yeah, that's the only one I got on here.
Backpack.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but
what were you?
With the mustache, oh boy!
Oh my goodness, you looked high as a mother.
I don't think I would have been.
Nah, you just looked it.
But I might have. It might have been that. Boy, I tell you, that hash in Egypt, boy, I still remember that stuff, boy. That Desert Storm hash, woo wee.
Ancient.
Yo,
ancient strands, Jared.
Jackie laughing a little too hard there, Jared.
You can't.
We're just having a good time.
Smoked out on the back of an aircraft carrier in the middle of the Red Sea. That's a lovely
ancestral
contradictory experience.
You said you look like Christopher Williams. You did look like Christopher Williams.
I did, and that's what I'm saying. Then he got his ass whooped, and my life was over. It was like, why he got his ass whooped on New Jack City and ruined my whole life. Him and Tyrese. It was the 1-2 punch of the late '80s, early '90s. It was a rap. It was a rap. And now I hear the other one. I didn't realize Albie Shore had been deeply engaged in all this Puffy stuff, and now they accusing him. Jaguar Wright's accusing Puffy of killing off all his partners and making Albie Shore sick. She was like, look at everybody that worked with. She said, look at everybody that worked with Puffy, Biggie, Andre Harrell. She went through the whole list. All of them gone. The sister that used to work with them, all of them gone. And then Albie Shore sick.
Oh.
I need some levity, so I'm gonna believe in this conspiracy.
Yes,
because he's turning into a real villain. I didn't expect that.
How's he the only one left standing? All the bad boy. What's my man? Black Rob, Shine got locked up.
Dang,
I mean, it's like, and he just out here. Take that.
Don't look at me.
I'm gonna leave my Scorpio brother alone, man.
Oh, here you go. But go ahead. We love the old photos.
Are you really gonna align with this guy? Don't, ear doctor. It's looking real sketchy over there.
Mm-mm.
You sure?
Come on, man. Don't do that about. Come on.
I don't know if you want to go there. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm worried about you. We need you.
Nah. Hey, that's why I stay safe. Coffee's all right. But
right.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, we do need old photo day. We need old photos, y'all. So come on, Jackie. Come on, Lucretia. Let's bring
get the
them back.
baby pictures out.
Yeah.
Jesus, no.
I was a cute baby. I'll do that. Yeah.
All right. So I guess we're going to go ahead and end on this mix. We got 474 people what I was watching today. So big up to all y'all remixes out there.
Come back tomorrow.
We'll be back tomorrow, and I'll give y'all a little bit of reggae since that's how we was doing today. All right, so let's get it.
Peace.
Right here on the Remix Morning Show.
Back at 10 o'clock.
When you say this rhythm, you have a patch. Yellow man made it. And you say after me done made it, me set it. Zungo, zungo, go zungo, zen. Zungo, zungo, go zungo, zen. Say if you have a paper, you must have a pen. And if you have a start, you must have a end. Say 5 plus 5, it equal to 10. And if you have board, you put them in a pen. And if you have a rooster, you must have a end now. Zungo, zungo, go zungo, zen.
Sorry is all that you can say. Years go by and still the words don't come
Rosie tell me to come. So she didn't have a daughter, she did have a son. She said the loop doesn't work, run up the stairs and come. And if you don't come quick, you're not gonna know that son. So I grab a bunch of rose and I started to run. Here I come, whoa. 2 months later, she said, come and get your son. Cause I don't want your baby to come tie me down. Not because you are old and I am young. Yes, while I'm young, yes, I wanna have some fun. Step up on that in the area. Diddy. Them out, yeah. I love the girls, them forever. But I let love go, people let the lover stay. But I let the lover keep on shining bright along the way. When I'm up in this, I can't see all the girls, them DJ. I said, darling, show me, darling, my baby. Walk me, darling, show me, darling, my baby. I miss a darling, my baby. I miss a darling, my lady. I said she love me and she driving me crazy. I said she love me and she driving me crazy. It's to the way just spot Philip and Ross and Johnny. And when you kill you with it. I wanna kill you with it. Boy, thrill you with it. I wanna thrill you with it. Boy, champion lover, know he's up tonight. Well, champion lover, gonna make you feel alright. Whoa, champion lover, know he's up tonight. Well, champion lover, gonna make you feel alright.
Here come we play. Dig that. Let's go. Come on. I don't smoke cigarette cause it will stop my breath. Oh God. Oh, yeah. Oh, and God. What else? And I don't sniff coke cause it will make a joke. Hey, yeah. All I smoke is the real cushion bang. Cushion bang make I wanna smoke again. Pass the cushion bang. Pass it over. Oh, yeah.
My golden age.
Come on.
Tick a tock, my golden age.
Let's go.
Tick a tock, my golden age. She lay next for the gentleman. Sometime 9 and sometime 10. Oh, and whenever she lay, she make an alarm. Ka, Leo, whoa, Leo, whoa. Certain from morning, from my golden age. Got a little girl at my home. She wake up this morning. She didn't eat no breakfast, no. She wake up this morning. She don't eat no breakfast. She leave out my home and she faint in the car. She give my neighborhood lots of relax.
I have never heard a sound play so heavy and so clear with a sweet tone of melody the crowd want to hear. Never heard a sound play so heavy and so clear with a sweet tone of melody. Watch out! That we no laugh, we no skin, we no play neither green along. Then we there I give out, we one in a sound boy can't hear. So him skin go and burn him. We don't dig the grave by the return coffin. You want fly too far, so we go and clip your wing. You test my sound, it is total murdering. I have never heard a sound play so heavy and so clear with a sweet tone of melody the crowd want to hear. Never heard a sound play so heavy and so clear. My champion sound.
Remember it was under the sycamore tree. A boy want me bow, want me tell him to flee. I tell you it was under the sycamore tree. The sun stopped shining again. I tell you it was under the sycamore tree. A boy want me bow, want me tell him to flee. I tell you it was under the sycamore tree.
That's what we doing right here, right now. We will check y'all out in the morning right here on Black Power Media. This is no other than the Remix Morning Show. And we catch y'all in the morning.